All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is, are companies quiet quitting DEI initiatives? Uh, Maybe. I mean, last thing I've heard was Walmart looking to stop the process of this. I mean, to be honest, I think we're at a point where we're not suffering through the same things socially as we once were. We should not, under any circumstance, make companies weaker or the country weaker almost by default by having to hire people that could not pass generally the same test that others have been passing for the last 100 years, guys. That's a thing. And we also should not be hiring people exclusively because of who they decide to be with in the bedroom, guys. That's another thing that's completely irrelevant. Like, these things are not things that make things stronger. In a sense, we're purposely making things weaker to appease people's emotions, guys. That's not very logical. But either way, let's go and check this out immediately, see where this takes us, guys. So that's my take on that.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, is a term you've probably heard quite a bit.
DEI.
And DEI.
DEI.
DEI is representation. It's the number of people that you have in the organization that mirror the labor force availability.
The police killing of George Floyd and subsequent protests became a tipping point for companies across America. Fortune 1000 companies publicly acknowledged the importance of racial diversity, pledging $340 billion to promote change. But that is starting to change. The commitment to DEI appears to be wavering.
Squawk, Deere is pulling back from DEI measures.
Technology companies made big cuts to those DEI programs.
Lowe's is the latest company to roll back DEI efforts.
Major players have pulled back their initiatives amid growing conservative pressures, uncertain economic conditions, and a politicization of the practice.
Harley joins Tractor Supply Company and Polaris in scaling back or changing DEI policies.
Guys, as the political season was basically running, you could pretty much tell who was going to take it. You can understand that there are people who would rather live their life, right? Like how they live their life. They shouldn't, let's say they didn't want to consistently be indoctrinated by whatever California wants to promote that day. Let's say people want to be able to live their lives without needing to, let's say, adhere to someone's niche lifestyle. I think that's really what it came down to. And then as the political season was running, and with who won, it became pretty obvious that the ideologies that that one specific party was consistently pushing down the throats of Americans was going to be a failing ideology. And the fact that they lost popular vote for the first time in a very long time should basically tell them that loudly. But of course, they're not going to, assume the guilt, let's say, in the things that they were pushing. No, they're not going to. They're just going to say that everyone else is some type of ist or, due to some type of ism, let's say. That's basically what they're going to continue to push. They're not going to learn, and they're going to lose again, and they're going to keep losing again because people are legitimately sick and tired of being sick and tired of the constant indoctrination. Listen, bro, no one cares what you do to yourself. All right. And if you do, you have a problem. Okay. I'm just going to be honest here. If you care what someone else is doing with their body, you kind of may be the problem. All right. That they're talking about, at least. But most people just don't care, bro. All right. It's not an issue. It's not a conversation piece. I don't want to sit here. I truthfully don't care what you do to yourself in the bedroom or with who you're doing it with. I don't care. I don't think about it. It's not my problem, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I want you to live your best life at all times. And I think the majority of Americans probably think the same thing. So when you're being told that if you don't have this on your mind, right, the first thing in the morning, right, you're an evil person, it's like, bro, not the entire country is not evil. They just are sick of your preaching, let's say.
Following a campaign by activist Robbie Starbuck.
Well, there's a new player in the marketplace, and that is the conservative consumer who has woken up to the fact that many companies have divorced from the idea that customers are king.
But DEI advocates argue that this retreat may be overstated. Is it the normal ebb and flow of social initiatives, or is there a shift in corporate culture?
Yeah. Bud Light was crazy.
DEI is diversity, is representation.
For the corporate
it's the number
side.
of people that you have in the organization that mirror the labor force availability.
When we're challenged with growth opportunities, we're often told to think bigger. You've got to think bigger. Well, you in and of yourself and your existing team in your existing structure can't think bigger without new perspectives. And that's what leading bigger is widening your perspective by including others.
Despite challenges, a 2024 study found 75% of U.S. executives highly prioritize DEI, and those executives are being more vocal about their support. In a letter to shareholders, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said that the initiatives are driving inclusivity, innovation, and stronger financial performance. And MasterCard's chief...
And that's what matters to them. Like DEI specifically is a way to be able to virtue signal to specific niche groups that, you know what, we're one of you guys, that type of thing, right? All it is that the corporations seriously do not care about your plight. They only care about making sure they can corner the market in whatever niche subgroup they're attempting to basically virtue signal to.
Chief Administrative Officer acknowledged the company's continued commitment to equality and fairness. Diversity among CEOs is also improving, with more women, Black, Asian, and Latino people occupying the position since 2019.
Over 70% of leaders choose proteges that are of the same race and gender. We like comfortable, we gravitate to comfortable, but what we have to realize in today's world and tomorrow's future, comfort means stagnation. It means a lack of change, a lack of forward movement.
So if you look around the room and everybody who's sitting there is a white male, and you're trying to sell products to a multiracial world marketplace, and you don't have anybody who represents that thinking, then you're probably not going to do very well in the marketplace.
That's a valid statement.
DEI advocates,
like specifically the tail end of that. If you do not know the specific market that you're looking to market to, you're not going to be able to market to them very well, right? That's a valid statement, but I still think that everything should be merit-based. I'm not someone who agrees with even 25% to 75% egalitarianism versus meritocracy. I think that everything should be skill-based, okay? I'd probably say, listen, we need about 10% egalitarianism or less. And that may be that, right? We can look at things in an interesting manner, but not, bro. It's skill-based almost completely. I'm sure you could find someone if that's the case, but then that, again, would be going towards affirmative action or DEI. But I would definitely say everyone just needs to compete. That's it. If your company can't function, let's say, in a specific group, oh, well, bro, that's your fault.
Point to several benefits, including improved innovation, recruitment, and company reputation.
We say we don't want to have people figure out how they fit in. We want to help people figure out how they stand out.
In 2023, more than 75% of companies in the S&P 500 use DEI metrics in the pay of CEOs and other C-suite executives. Still, less than half of U.S. corporate employees say their executive teams reflect the diversity of their employees in 2024. One of the problems with diversity initiatives is getting shareholders on board, especially when it is hard to translate to dollars.
Everything doesn't have to be quantitative. So we live in a society where if you can't count it, if you can't quantify it, then it doesn't matter.
And these are some of the sample metrics
Absolutely.
around the power of inclusion and inclusive workplaces. You've got over 70% more likelihood to generate revenue from innovation revenue, which is new products and services revenue. You have 70% more likelihood to capture new markets. You have a higher level of team performance. You have a higher level of collaboration. And importantly, given how critical talent is today, you have a much lower risk of attrition.
Okay.
In recent years, DEI efforts have seen an uptick in pushback, and more than 100 bills have been introduced in 30 states aimed at restricting these initiatives. And some executives are increasingly wary of taking public stances on social issues, which could cause legal risks to businesses. 9 in 10 executives believe taking a public stance on a social issue is riskier than staying silent, according to one study.
It's a broader swath of Americans who are
You're right.
sick of all the divisive woke stuff. They just want to be able to exist in the marketplace.
What he said.
Several major publicly traded companies and household names, including Tractor Supply, John Deere, Harley-Davidson, Ford, and Lowe's, scaled back their DEI policies.
As we look down that list of most trusted brands by conservatives in America, we realized they all had these policies, and they were all opposed to the fundamental values and tenets and beliefs of conservative consumers.
Robbie Starbuck has over 1 million followers across his social media platforms and has been able to galvanize conservative consumers.
So there's a real financial incentive for companies to look and take very seriously what we're saying and pull back where it's appropriate to pull back.
More people now have permission to be, quote, anti-DEI. And I think that for those organizations, they probably were already only doing it because they felt it was the socially acceptable thing to do. So they
Listen, high 90% are only doing it to get on that leaderboard, the DEI leaderboard. That's it. That's the only reason why they're there.
really weren't doing it because they saw this as a critical aspect of their business success.
Bro.
U.S. companies spend an average of $8 billion.
Listen, the best wins. I don't care what you look like or what you do with yourself, bro. I don't care, right? The best candidate wins. If it's like police or military or anything, the strongest candidate wins. Period. That's kind of how that should go, guys. We should not be weakening ourselves or doing all these things just to appease someone's like literal emotions, guys. It's a little crazy.
$1 billion a year on DEI.
Guys, no other countries are weakening themselves to virtue signal, guys. Just us.
Training can be costly, ranging from a couple $1,000s to well over $1 million, depending on company size.
The DEI departments at large have cost quite a bit of money and have borne very little fruit.
The budgets are definitely being cut. We do find that in this era where there's so much backlash, we do find that organizations' budgets, have been cut.
Although business leaders are supporters of DEI initiatives, shareholders and board members are far less likely to prioritize it.
Yeah, absolutely. As of a couple of days ago, I don't know if you guys invest, there were a lot of shareholder meetings that were going on here. And whenever these things come up, I will always vote against it.
The board has a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders. These boards are understanding that when we reach out to their company, that there is proof already in the marketplace that we move the markets. And I don't want to destroy any businesses. I want to help restore the heart and soul of corporate America, which is the idea that the consumer is king.
That's fair.
One study found that while only 20% of U.S. companies plan to cut or eliminate DEI initiatives in 2024, the landscape is complex. Many organizations continue to view it as essential for business success.
There are many, many organizations
yesterday, guys.
who are still doing diversity and inclusion
meetings.
and who have come out and said, this is not optional for us because we know that it is a business imperative. This work goes in waves, right? And so there's the time when things are kind of quiet and you can just work the system and get things through. Nobody's really talking about it to the extent that we are now.
DEI pullback is a bit overstated, as organizations are largely doubling down on commitment, but risks are apparent, particularly to organizations who take public stances on social issues.
I think there's no question that the future is going to be won by companies that choose neutrality on divisive political and social issues. There's no reason that we need to know the social position of a diaper company.
Our values of liberty and justice for all, our values of equality, should take us there because we want to create a world that works for all. The better off I am, the better off other people are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, this is egalitarian, this nightmare, guys. Ugh, I hate it. Listen, I don't know. I've just always been mentally against the concept of listen, bro, if you don't work for it, you don't eat. That's just kind of how things, I shouldn't have to give you something permanently. You need to be able to work and compete, guys. I mean, that's just, am I weird for thinking this? You work for what you eat, bro. Okay, you're not given nothing, ever. It makes you weak. Maybe I'm crazy, guys. I could be crazy. I don't know. Maybe I may be crazy. Who knows? But all right, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments because you have no problem. You have no problem calling me out. And I like that. All right, please do that. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.